Hello everyone and welcome to Blank First Page. My name is Lucas. It's that most wonderful time of the year again, and that is planner choosing time for the next year. Most stationery stores, school stores and office supply stores are now just rammed full of 2024 planners, sitting there tempting you to buy a new notebook. I personally have been suckered into getting a new planner multiple times. I have a selection of them here to go over with you. And what I'd like to do in this video is to run through some of the different types of planners that I've purchased over the years. These ones here are a good representation, I think, of the different types of planners you can get. I'm going to talk about what type of planner is best for which type of activity, why none of them work for me and for my stationery setup, and at the end I'll show you the system I've landed on for myself this year, which I think will finally fit in with my notebook and my stationery setup. So I'll start off at one end of the spectrum, certainly in size, with this standard memorandum daily record book. It is made by Word Notebooks in the US. Made in the US, and they still make them. The only one I have is from 2015, but they just released their 2024 version as well. They're based on these kind of daily record books from the 1800s and the 1900s, the early 1900s, and they always have some old-timey typeface at the top, and they all take this format. Quite a narrow shape. For comparison, I've got one of my field notes here. It's about 3/4 of the width of the field notes and just slightly shorter. Great for portability because it will go into any jacket pocket, any bag that you have. They put a lot of time into the design of it. So I did use this every day pretty much until the end of the year. But this particular year I was moving from the UK to Australia. So at the end of the year there were a few more things going on and I couldn't quite keep up the habit. But I was surprised at how much I was able to keep with this habit. And that is the main thing I'd recommend this type of planner for. So this doesn't have a lot of space for kind of high-level planning. You do get a year view with months, so you can put some high-level things in there. But if you want kind of your month-to-a-page view and more detailed views of that kind, this probably is not the right one, not the right planner for you. But if you are trying to get into a journaling habit and you're like myself where if you're faced with a page, I'll take this Hobonichi Techo, which I'll come to in a minute. A lot of planners have this one day to a page system. This is a big empty page that is very intimidating to fill, and I don't feel like I have enough to say that's interesting or that's worth writing down. I like writing down, but if you put that in front of me and every day I need to fill it out, unless I go stream of consciousness, which is one of the techniques you can use, I'm not likely to stick with that habit. This, on the other hand, I'll show you on a blank page. You get 4 lines. This is maybe 2 inches wide. So at best, you're going to be able to put in 3, maybe 4 sentences, depending on how small you write. And you can just make note of things you did in that day. Went to a coffee shop, have good coffee. That's your day done there. So if you are trying to get into the habit of journaling, I recommend something like this because it imposes a constraint on you. You have to write very concisely. And that specific constraint is what is likely to get you to stick with the habit because it's an easy hurdle to overcome. And then maybe the next year, once you've established that habit, a lot of it is just about getting into the routine. Once you've established that, then you can move on to bigger things. Next, I'll take the Hobonichi Techo. This to me is kind of on the other end of the spectrum. Now this is, I'll take it out of its cover here. The Techo is a high-end version of this kind of planner. Most corporate planners that I've received are you used to get them as gifts from the bank for some reason every year. They follow the same format where you have the bulk of the book is actually just your day to a page or page to a day, date marked, and you've got your page with some planning space on the side for the Hobonichi. You've got your time of the day. And that is literally just the entire notebook is one day, one page. At the front of the notebook, you've got your year views, You've got 6 months to 2 pages, so you can see in a vertical alignment, you've got each day a line, so you can organize yourself that way. There's some room at the top and at the bottom for extra notes. Then you've got this view of your month to a page where you've got more space. You just have the 1 month on the 1 page. And then you also have a week to a page in this format where you have, this is specifically for planning. You've got an indication of which week it is, the month number, and obviously the days, and then you've got it broken down by time vertically. This is a very good journal for those seasoned journalers out there. I'm not myself into bullet journaling or the Bujo culture. I'm pretty sure this Hobonichi Techo is one of the Grail notebooks maybe that is used in that. You've got lots of intricate systems for making lists and different symbols, and there's lots of space to put washi tape and stamps and so on. So that's great if you're into that, or if you do something like your morning lines, which is you write down, I think, a page's worth of stream of consciousness every morning as a method for journaling. This Hobonichi gives you all that space, and the bulk of the notebook, like I said, is dedicated to that kind of activity. For me, as you can see, most of this has gone unused. What I have used is this kind of layout where I've been able to plan the month. I've written down specific events. I've used it to kind of cross the days out. And that is where I've always got stuck with planners, no matter how excited I am about the potential for using a planner, how I'm going to do my morning lines or whatever it is. It just doesn't fit in with my standard notebook system, because I've got my field notes that I use every day, and then I'll have a notebook like this that I use for work. And between those two, I have all my note-taking space covered, probably 80% of it. I have separate notebooks for projects and so on. But I don't have the need for another notebook with a lot of space in it. I personally, in my personal life, don't have that many appointments that I need to plan out my day by the hour. And for work, most of my appointments are meetings with colleagues, and a lot of that is over Teams. So my work calendar just kind of manages itself. This type of layout is what is useful to me, and this day to a page just seems wasteful to me, and is wasteful. I can recommend it if you are into proper journaling or Bujo or anything like that, but steer clear if you're like me and you have a different system that you work with. Now I'll come to a couple of things that are in between as options. You've got sort of the very restrictive side on the one hand, you've got a very open side on the other hand, but still concentrated around the specific year and the specific set of dates. Here I've got two versions of basically unmarked, undated calendars. So this is a field notes option from a few years ago. I think it was part of I think it's called the Ambition edition. And the layout is very simple. It has a week to a page, 2 weeks to an open bifold, but it's unmarked. You can write in the month, you can write in the date of the month that you're writing in, but there's no obligation to stick to the day that's written on the page that's printed in there, which is one of the things I always feel bad about. Is even if you do use a journal, sometimes there are going to be days that you skip, and then if you're using it properly as a journal, that's going to be a blank page. And we like the blank pages at the front of the notebook, but within the notebook it feels a bit more like a waste. And then there's options like this, which actually this goes this way around, and it is a notebook made by Stalogy or Stalogy, I'm not sure exactly how to say it. And this is kind of a choose your own adventure or an unmarked or unset in stone planner. At the top, you've got your months of the year and your days of the year, and on the left-hand side, you've got the time of the day. So it's very subtle, it's not intrusive, and if you don't want to use this notebook as a planner, which I did not, you've basically got a graph page and some writing on the side, which is not intrusive into the notebook itself. I used it just for work. I only wrote on one side of the pages because I wanted to get through it quickly. It's quite a thick notebook. What I will do is I'll come back the other way, this way, and use the back blank sides of the pages the next time around. If you do want to use it on a planner, and I'm using it on January 3rd, I just mark that page. But when it comes to the next page, I'm not bound to have it on January 4th. If I only use it again on March 9th, that's fine. I can mark it that way, and I'm using every page, leaving nothing blank, so the notebook gets used much more efficiently and effectively. That's kind of the spectrum, in my view, of planner types. You've got the full-blown, big honking notebook, leather bound, here with every form of layout imaginable. You do need to have a specific use for journaling, in my opinion, to use this to its full potential. On this side, you've got a simple, more of a one-use notebook, which, like I said, gets you into a habit well, and then you can go somewhere in between that allows you to be a bit more flexible. And most importantly, none of them have worked for me. I have my EDC notebook, I have my work notebook, and I'm covered. But what I do use, like I've showed in the Hobonichi, is this kind of layout, because it helps me plan my long term. And that's an example now as it's coming to the end of the year. I've been thinking about where I'm going to travel next year, kind of throughout the whole year with my work, specific holidays I need to plan around, public holidays in different countries to avoid, and so on. And so I needed a way to have a year view on a page, which I could do somewhere like this. But I wanted just a bit more space to do my first pass, so I downloaded a year view calendar for Calendarpedia. They've got every imaginable layout you can think of. There I was able to just pencil in where public holidays are, specific events I need to think about, and so on. And that reminded me of something I've shown here before, which are these types of calendar layouts that I put in my field notes. It's very simple, and because, like I said, it's either a single day I'm trying to single out, some specific time off, or visitors that are arriving. And between this and the printout and this kind of month to a page view, it kept reminding me, or kept bringing home, the fact that what I really need is a few sheets of one specific type of view. I don't want a full notebook's worth of a planner. I just need this specific part of it. So I started playing around. I have this nice paper. Maybe I can have just 12 different sheets of this paper, and I can lay out a standard view like this on it. And I've made my own notebooks before, but I didn't really, just 12 sheets of this, I didn't think it would end up turning out nicely. So what I did was I got myself a field notes and I turned it into a planner that just has these month views in it. And this solves a few things for me. So there's a certain specification of field notes, like this one, where the cover is extremely thick. And typically I use my field notes for about 4 to 6 weeks. And what I like is for them, as you know, for them to wear in nicely and get that added texture to them, like this one. But when I use these thicker cover ones, in 4 to 6 weeks, I can never get them to that point. I don't enjoy it as much when I have these thicker covered field notes. And that's when I thought that's perfect to use for something that I'll have around for a full year. I'm in the habit of having multiple field notes, so just having 2, or even if I have to carry it around as a third one, that's fine. That fits in with my kind of carrying schedule, and it's not as intrusive and huge as a big planner like this would be. Over the course of a year, a cover like this is perfect because, first of all, it will prevent it from degrading too quickly, and it will also give it time over a few months to wear in to the point where it will become nice and malleable, like with my EDC. So all I did, because of the number of pages that the field notes has, a year fits in perfectly. So you get to use the entire notebook. And the way I've set it up is I've got one page with the month name on it and then the month itself. And that gives me a perfect solution, I hope we'll see at the end of next year, to a multi-year long planner problem. I hope with this video, if you've been wondering which type of planner you would like to choose, that I've given you some information to help guide you. And if you're like me and you just need a few specific practical pages for your planning needs, go out and make yourself one of these pocket month to a page planners. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.